from the previous that I was camping out last night, and I'm getting ready to pack up the camp now. Just thought I'd walk around and show you a couple of things. This is my campsite for last night, and you can see it's still real early in the morning. My shadow is very tall right now. I always get lots of questions over the stuff I use and why I use it. So just a real quick walk around to some of my camping gear. Let's see, for some of the time lapses, I used the old IKEA trick, IKEA egg timer. I got a pocket rocket stove, Stanley cooking dish. It also houses a couple of cups. Let's see what else. An E-tool or an entrenching tool for you folks. This one right here is made by Gerber. It was actually military surplus, and fantastic tool. Helps you bust up the wood. It can help you douse a fire just as quick as a gallon of water, because you can turn and bury, turn and bury, turn and bury, and then add your water, and you've done good. This is a super cheap tripod. This is what I used for my time lapses last night to catch Babo Peak over there, and to catch the moonrise and the sunrise. So hopefully those all turned out really well. What else have I got here? This right here is just one of those cheap chairs you can get at Walmart. It's really not very compact, and I plan to get something new, because this right here is the bulkiest thing I carry on my bike, but it's the only thing that I can bring with me to let me sit comfortably around a campfire when there's no benches or anything. Obviously, the table here is my my top box. Yet another great use for, yet another great reason for having hard boxes when you go out adventuring, because of their multi-uses. I know some of the aluminum cans, you can actually take them off the side and set them down, and they come with a piece that extends between the two of them, so you have a really nice stable platform there to cook on, or whatever you need to do, put your feet up on it. And let's see, inside the tent, I think for that's my pillow, my Revit pillow, also known as my jacket when I'm not wearing it. I also bring a pillowcase, and I stuff the pillowcase with the liners from the jacket. This jacket comes with a rain liner, and it comes with an insulated liner, and I shove both of those inside the pillowcase. So I just bring an empty pillowcase and stuff it full of things. This right here is, I think it's an Ozark Trail, something like that. Yeah, the Ozark Trail. This is going to be one of those Walmart specials here. And then underneath everything, and I've got the Thermarest self-inflating mattress. This thing is spectacular, really. I'm a huge guy, and when I lay on this thing, I'm not feeling myself poke through to the ground. So that's really big. And as you can see, this tent truly is a single person tent, but it's just perfect for me. I fit in here. I sleep well in here. You know, it has a couple of the accoutrements, like little pockets and things like that. And this right here is an Alps mountaineering tent. I think there's a better logo here, more visible. There you go. I used the rain cover last night. It's got these little stays to help it breathe, but I used the rain cover last night not because I was concerned about any rain, but just to help me trap some heat inside there, because it did get down to about 48 degrees last night, despite it being 90 when I was setting up camp. That's a huge temperature swing, but welcome to fall in Arizona. Anyway, out here on the BANWR, and last night was just crazy animal life. There was an owl out here, and I think I know what his food source is. Let's have a look around here. But there was an owl out here last night, hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo, all night long. And he sounded huge. He had such a deep voice. He sounded so huge. And if you look here, these tracks and this digging right here, this stuff happened last night. These tracks weren't here last night. You can see how fresh they are because the ground is still dark where they left their tracks. So whatever was running around out here last night was doing that, and I could hear it scurrying all about. And then you had the owl, you had whatever this was, maybe a javelina. I can't see the footprints too easily. But yeah, man, it was crazy. Just every time it got quiet for a moment, you could hear something new moving around. And then, gosh, what else was it? Okay, so I'm sitting there around the campfire. It's getting nice and quiet. I'm enjoying a stogie. And I turn around, and you guys saw the clearing where my bike is parked, right? So there's my camp, and it's like a little clearing right here. And off in the grass over there, and off in the tall grass right over here, as soon as it would get quiet, I'd hear all this thumping and scurrying and everything else. So I got out my flashlight for a moment, which I try not to do because, you know, you don't want to make the animals all weird. But I turned on my flashlight, and there had to have been a dozen of these rat-like creatures. I would have called them a kangaroo rat, except that most of the kangaroo rats I've seen aren't that big. I mean, these things were twice the size of my fist. They were sort of pale, tan-colored, matching the grass, I imagine. And they were scurrying about, but even though they were four-legged, they would hop along on their back legs and only put their front legs down when they were scurrying or picking from a plant or something like that. And it was just the craziest thing because they didn't come near me. They stayed right at the edge of the grass every time I looked and turned around. So obviously, you know, I locked all my food up in one of the panniers. But it was crazy. So you'd hear all that thumping. And finally I burned all my firewood and was ready to rack out. I get into the tent, and you can hear coyotes way off in the distance over there. You can hear them yipping and howling, and then you can hear them yipping and howling way over there. And it's like there's 4 different groups, one in each direction, just yipping and hollering. And okay, I'm used to that. I mean, sometimes on a quiet night, even in the middle of the city, you can hear them. But it was pretty funny because it was, I don't know, I'd been asleep maybe 3 hours, and all I could hear was the yipping. And I mean, they were close. And they were so close, they were making noises that I didn't even know coyotes made. Because everybody, if you've ever heard coyotes, anyone who's ever heard coyotes in the wild, usually at a distance, and you hear the yip, 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 and howling at the moon and all the stuff that we all know that they do. But then there was this one that sounded like he was having a constant snarl. It was just like that. It was like, what the heck is going on? In my mind, as I woke up from being tired and dead asleep, I thought that there's some other campers way up the road here, and I thought maybe these coyotes got a hold of their dog and was like, you know, carrying them around in their jaws or something, because they have one of those itty-bitty dogs. But I looked out my tent, because the tent has these little windows, so I'm peering out from the little windows on the side of the tent through the gaps in my bike, trying to see out. I wasn't worried about them coming. They rarely attack humans unless they're rabid or something like that. And I tried to see out. I couldn't see anything, but man, they sounded like they were so stinking close. Because like I said, you could hear the noise that they were making with their mouths, not just the yipping and the hollering and everything, but like you could hear them like snapping and everything else. So I was thinking maybe they were picking up some of these rodents that were running around out here. And then I went for a little walk, and I don't know if you can see, but there are little paw prints here and there. And on top of the paw prints, or I should say in addition to the paw prints, is this. So this is obviously the mound, the nest for those rodents, whatever they are, that bounce around in the middle of the night. But what I'm thinking is those coyotes came through this close to my camp. And they snatched themselves up a couple of these rodents and made a meal of it somewhere. It's wild. You know, you can see the footprints from the coyotes in the dirt. And you know, I was harvesting wood yesterday because you can collect from dead and down, and there's a dead tree. There's a dead tree right over there, and that's where I got a majority of my stuff. But I didn't see these tracks here yesterday because I look for them, you know. I'm also walking and looking for snakes so I don't step on one. And also behind a lot of this grass are some cholla cactus, like I'll show you right here. There's more paw prints right there. But it's cholla cactus, right? So you don't want to bump into that because some of them are smaller too, and they sort of hide behind the grass. So as I was walking back there to that dead tree to pull off some wood, I was looking down at the ground, and I always check, you know, for signs of animal if I'm going to be camping on top of a bed of fire ants or something like that. I did not see. So you can see my tracks here, and the coyote tracks are on top of them. Those are my tracks from yesterday. So that's crazy, man. They were this darn close. Anyway, I'm just kind of rambling on because I haven't talked to anybody since I've been out here, and I've got a lot of work to do. I got to pack things up, so I'll get back with you when I'm on the road again. Good morning, YouTube. And we're back out on the trail out. Went ahead and aired up the tires back there. This road is pounded pretty good, so I wasn't too concerned about the tire pressure in here, and I'm taking it nice and easy. It's already getting warm again. I don't know, maybe it's just all the work of packing everything up. Maybe that plays a bigger role in heating. So what we got on tap today is going to be the Arivaca Road. And Arivaca Road's a real twisty road, but it's also real treacherous. You got lots of ranches out there that frequently just pull right onto the road with their cattle haulers and everything else. So we'll want to take it easy. Plus this road gets washed out a lot during the raining season, so there's a lot of low places. It's not upkept by the county very well. We're ready to go. Try to warm up the tires a bit here and get the dirt off of them. But as you can see, this road isn't very well maintained. It's only marginally smoother than the road I just came off of. A lot of patchwork and stuff like that. So in reading up on the Buenos Aires National Wildlife Refuge, it had once, much like a lot of public land, it had once belonged to some cattle ranchers who, their families, once they got out of the business, more or less donated the properties. And that goes hand in hand with what the lady at the Sasabe store was saying about how the area around here had developed due to a cattle industry rather than mining. Now, even though just on the other side of the hills here there are several active mines, that wasn't the case for this area. And they do a pretty good job. I mean, the area is pretty clean. Lots of wildlife, I can vouch for that. Boy, it is just beautiful out here. Now that I'm rolling, it feels pretty nice. Looks like they just recently had the tractors down here to cut the tall grass off the edges of the road. So there could be a lot of debris blown out into the road as well. Yeah, lots of garbage in the road right here. So anyway, a beautiful little ride ahead of us here. Thinking I'll go back up Old Nogales Highway and we can see how the pecan harvesting is going. It's that time of year where they start dropping all the pecans off the trees. Workers ahead. What do you want to bet? Those are the guys chopping the dirt, and look right there, that sand right in the turn. Yep, there he is, throwing all sorts of debris. Rocks and brush, twigs, thorns, all sorts of discarded nuts and bolts and that have fallen off of or out of people's cars and trucks. It's all getting thrown back out into the road. It's bumpy, it's lumpy, and covered in sand. Washed out roads covered in sand. Man, it's too bad because this road is pretty twisty. Seems like it'd be a really fun road to have a good time on. Whoa, see there right there. Wow. I slipped a lot back there. I don't know how I didn't go down. I really don't. Wow. I mean, I felt the back end slip way freaking hard. Now look at all this dirt. It's about an inch thick right there. And then you got this guy throwing debris on the road as well. Alright, and here I thought I was taking it easy. Holy crap. Here I thought I was taking it easy, man, and just... It's like someone came along and dropped a layer of sand over the entire road, and yeah, it's not the regular road sealing that they do. This is just dirt and gravel. It's got to be from running this these tractors and road maintenance equipment, because man, you just, I don't know if you could see it on the GoPro with the sun and all, but straight up and down the middle of the road there's just there's sand, and you can see up ahead there's tractors and things, so you know it ain't gonna get any better. I think we're coming into the town of Arivaca. Yep. Well, welcome to Arivaca. Arivaca Lake. Oh good, wet paint on top of everything else. Awesome. Mexican-American restaurant. I smell pretty bad. I'm not sure I should stop here, although maybe I blend right in. I'm into riding this morning, so I think that's what I'm going to stick with. Wow. Let me tell you something, folks. If you live out someplace where there's wide open views like this, you have to get out and appreciate them. You just have to. This is it, the town of Amado, the Longhorn Grill. Look at that thing. I wonder what kind of steaks came off of that cow. Man, it must have been huge. Right? Am I right? It must have been huge. The steaks coming off of that one. Ribs. It seems like the town still has something going, but I don't know. Well, that's pretty much it, folks. We had a nice little camping trip. I brought you back up to the orchards, and you can see the road lined with wonderful pecan trees. Makes me think of pecan pie. My wife makes the best pecan pie, I swear. Whew. Glad Thanksgiving's coming up. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. And thanks for sticking with me. I know I took a long break there. But you know, sometimes you just got to get stuff done. All right, folks. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Election year trash on the side of the road.